Today's discussion is very dear to me. Do you have parents who have had diabetes or hypertension? And then coincidentally, you inherit the same condition. So that's me, and I'm sure many of us have gone through that. So today you're talking about the non-communicable diseases, and I have a guest who I admire. You may not know professionally, so I'll allow him to introduce himself, and then we can indulge in the conversation. Welcome.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Geraldine. I'm so glad to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. My name is Amos Kamau. Amos Kamau is a registered nutritionist. He's also a nutrition advocacy strategist. That is, I look at the things that need to be talked about in nutrition, and then I strategize on how to add more awareness in them so that we can have a progressive profession, and also that nutrition be prioritized in various avenues. Yes, I also work at the Institute for Food Justice and Development as a program officer on Light to Food program. Yes.
Now, thanks, Amos, and welcome to today's discussion. Now, let's do some storytelling. How we met.
Yes.
So I recall I was working somewhere, and I had an opportunity for a training, and the participant didn't turn up. So I had openings, and I needed to fill the room. So I reached out to somebody on LinkedIn, and then they recommended you, and that is how we met. I'd actually noted your work on LinkedIn, that you're very vocal about nutrition, which is I would wish more nutritionists could be more active on the platforms that you have. Maybe just share with our audience, how was the training? Did it benefit you? Did it open doors? Yeah.
Yes, it did. And I would like to highlight that that was the first meeting I had that I was able to engage those people at the high level, close to the Ministry of Health. And it was so random. It was to appear the next day. You called me that night
Yes.
and told me I have to appear for a meeting. I had not met you physically, but I had seen your work. So I knew Geraldine from the word go, because you came out as a person who brought out the technical aspects of nutrition, which was my interest then. So I was waiting for it, not knowing it was as immediate as it came through. So the training was awesome. I was like a small person there. But I remember in the call you told me, yeah, there are big people here, but I should not be intimidated.
Yes.
And as I walked in that room, I knew I was in the right place. And I was able even to take up some roles in group discussions, doing the notes. I appeared also as the one who presented the notes for the group.
I remember.
So the training was worth, and it contributed a lot to my confidence also to speak for nutrition. And I received a certificate, a high-level certificate that sits in my room as one of the achievements I have in speaking about healthy diets and physical activity in Kenya.
Yeah. Good. Now let's talk about who is Amos. What pulled you into nutrition advocacy?
I'm a recent graduate, 2 years now into the after school. And when I was in school, I read a message, a Facebook comment from a nutritionist. When somebody was asking about, do nutritionists get employed? I was in my second year then. I saw someone write a very long text saying that nutrition does not pay, or rather, there are no jobs for nutritionists. I'm in my second year doing nutrition. I gave up. In class, yes. I was actually scoring when I was in class. I gave up. But that evening, I sat down and said, it cannot be unlucky. Not everybody is unlucky. Maybe she was a lady. For her, it was different. But I said for mine, it would not be the same. So from then on, I decided to be intentional. I have to be exceptional. I have to be different. Because if you look at the graduates, the number of graduates for nutrition in Kenya, it's quite big. And the employment rate is quite low. So I knew to get a competitive edge, I needed to be extra. So my passion came after I gave up. I realized we are paying school fees. No, I'm not going to do anything else. I've paid school fees for this. So I just decided I would be the 1% in this profession. And from my second year going out, I started to get opportunity where I was also in school as a student, speaking for nutrition. And that's when I knew this is my place. And then it has not been easy because there is no hope, I would say so. There is no hope. You don't wake up, you don't sleep knowing you wake up to represent nutrition anywhere. So you just sleep with hope that maybe somebody somewhere will just wake up and think about your name. Yes. So nutrition is a passion from a broken point of view. So I cannot be broken again because I was broken then. So the way I show up for nutrition is not going to diminish anytime soon.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So is it the same passion that has made you write a book?
Exactly.
Okay, please tell us about the book.
So I've been sitting overnight for the past 1 month, looking at my journey in nutrition as a young nutritionist, and how I've gotten an advantage to be in rooms that this requires so many years to be seated in. And I realized, how can I structure something that can help another young nutritionist who wants to work in this NGO space? So I wrote a book called The Visible Nutritionist. It's not that I'm the most visible nutritionist in Kenya. We are many.
Yeah.
But I have a specific role as a young nutritionist who is seen, and also got an award at the Food and Nutrition Awards 2026 in Excellence in Nutrition Advocacy. I realized I can write something that can help another young nutritionist who wants to show up. So I sat down, drafted, tried to do some few topics that can help. Then I structured it in an ebook, a small ebook. Then I said, if I put it on free, it will be considered like any other book. And I have taken some time to draft something that can help. If somebody can do what I have written there as a young nutritionist, they will see progress. So the cost of it is not that I want sales. I do not want sales at all. But I want whoever invests in that knows that they will put whatever I've written in that book in practice. Yes.
How much is the book? Where can they get
So it's as cheap as $499, and you can get it at Sarah. I think in the comment section there will be a link to that. But it's a Sarah platform, or rather you can look for Amos Kamau, the Visible Nutritionist. You get it at Sarah at $499.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, maybe share with us what feedback have you received from those who've bought?
I have a recent one.
Yeah.
A lady called Rinette Jerry wrote a LinkedIn post about the book. She said she read the book and did her own reflection of the book, which was so unexpected, being the first time I wrote a book and somebody had already published a post about it. It was quite interesting. I've received feedback in my inbox, and they are quite encouraging. I'm not a person who does marketing, so I'm finding it hard to market my book, but I've received feedback to give me the courage to put the book out there because there are young nutritionists that need to read that book. Yes.
Good. Do we anticipate another book?
No, it is to enhance that.
Okay.
It's a book that can be prolonged based on experiences, including also getting to feature people like you.
Okay.
Your
I look forward to
perspectives
that.
in that being the visible nutritionist, because you as well are visible nutritionist. What is your perspective in that?
Sure. I'll be happy to have that discussion.
Awesome.
Now, you've been very vocal about non-communicable diseases. So let's just talk about that. I saw that non-communicable diseases account for 27% of deaths in Kenya.
Quite unfortunate.
Yeah.
And what is unfortunate about it is that they're preventable deaths. That is the most painful thing from my perspective. Non-communicable diseases are preventable deaths. Most of them, actually 90% of them, are preventable. And the worst part of it is that they are rising, they are increasing as you go on.
Yeah.
And we have seen little effort to advance that, but we appreciate the organizations that are doing a good job in ensuring that it doesn't become a reality where NCDs become public health burden in Kenya, although it is as we speak now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in your opinion, whom do you think is most affected by these non-communicable diseases? And you're talking about hypertension, diabetes. Is it an urban thing? Yeah.
It's quite unpredictable now because it's getting even when you look at the demographic, young people also getting these diseases.
Yeah.
It has taken a new trajectory that you cannot expect that when you get old, this is when these diseases will start to appear. Now, it's quite unfortunate that the urban areas in Kenya are quite affected. They are the most affected. If you look at it, most of the HTN or other hypertension, diabetes, all these cardiovascular diseases are in urban areas, bigger percentage than the rural areas. Although we have seen also a trajectory where rural areas have started to show.
Yeah.
And also the problem with these diseases is lack of, how do you put it, in a way that they don't know. There are people who have these diseases, but they don't know, undiagnosed. That is, I think, the biggest issue we are having. We have a bigger burden than we realize.
Yeah.
So the urban area is the most affected because we have seen increased screening, but in the rural areas, you're seeing, as per statistics, they are not quite heavy, but we believe it's because of lack of screening.
Okay.
That's why there's so much into it.
Yeah, I agree. As you've said, awareness is low. Now, before we talk about awareness, in your opinion, what do you think are the predisposing factors that are making the NCDs statistics go high in Kenya?
I would start with the one that is mostly ignored, unhealthy diets. We are doing the worst.
Please break that down.
We are doing the worst. So Kenya is a country that is developing.
Yeah.
Is an aspect we call nutrition transition. When a country is developing, it starts to adapt foreign cultures that include their foreign diets. So Kenya, being one of the westernized countries in Africa, has started to adopt a westernized diet. Junk food, I put it like that. We have seen analysis being done, market analysis being done by international companies in Kenya. One is called Access to Nutrition Initiative. They did a market analysis in Kenya of processed foods, ultra-processed foods. And they realized that over 90% of our prepackaged foods in Kenya are unhealthy, which is sad. So those foods that are in our supermarket, over 90% of them are unhealthy.
Yeah.
So that is how I'm saying, because when I say they're unhealthy, I mean they have excessive amounts of sugar, salt, and fat. Those are the key nutrients, 3 key nutrients that contribute to NCDs. So unhealthy diets from that angle of consuming excessive ultra-processed foods and not our own indigenous foods. And then we have lack of physical activity. Kenyans are not active. And they are looking for ways to be inactive. We need to be active. And another one is stress is also contributing to NCDs, mental health issues. And major is more of lifestyle issues that are leading to NCDs. Yes, and obesity. Obesity is actually gaining momentum in Kenya. And it's actually part and parcel of the reason why diabetes, hypertension, they are on the rise.
Yeah, I agree. I also read somewhere that most of them are hereditary.
Yes, quite unfortunate. Most of them, you get them from, if your family has had cases of hypertension or diabetes, you have, it's not a must, but you have a higher likelihood. If you regea kidogo, if you if you're not proactive, they will find you. They will find you if you do not put yourself away from these risk factors that I've mentioned.
Yeah.
Unhealthy diet, you're consuming junk. If somebody in your household had some diabetes, you still get it. If you are not active, it is because your system is having the same system with their family. It's a family history thing. It's not a must to get because your family has. It's because you have predisposed yourself to a point that you have put yourself at risk of a higher level to get the disease.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, before we go back to the roots, because we need to talk about indigenous foods, maybe you could talk about the work you're doing with NCD Alliance.
So NCD Alliance Kenya took us a number of young people and trained them on NCDs advocacy. So I'm actually trained to speak about NCDs. And so when you are trained, they train you to bring out your capacity. So being in the nutrition space, I got to take the food aspect of it. So I've been vocal on the food aspect of NCDs, and that is where I've been able to work with NCD Alliance for quite some time as their NCDs youth champion, also in food policies. NCD is an alliance itself that brings across organizations that are working within the NCD space. We have Stroke Association, all these associations, including organizations that are helping fight non-communicable diseases. So their main aim is to ensure that Kenya is NCD free. So these trainings for young people happened, I think, 2 years ago, 1.5, I think last year. I believe so, but it has been an ongoing thing. That is where I've been able to talk about NCDs in a more evidence-based level because of them.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I know you also work with it's called IFJAD.
Yes.
And I've actually been running a smart food campaign where I'm advocating for indigenous foods. Because as you said, we were not eating healthy. I wasn't eating healthy. Yeah. Maybe you could also share with us, what are you doing with IFJAD? I know we met 2 weeks ago at the Food and Culture Day.
Yes.
And also the Food Heritage Festival.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about what you do with IFJAD.
Okay.
And then link it to NCD. Yeah.
Awesome. So Institute for Food Justice and Development is an NGO youth thread. The executive director is called Crispus Kenywe.
Yeah.
I believe you know him. He's a nutritionist as well.
Yeah.
That organization, where I volunteer as a program officer, work within the space of food systems. We look at the food system from the farm to the fork. Where within that do we have issues? What leads you to not to consume a healthy diet, in short? What makes you who is living in an urban area not be able to access vegetables to your convenience? So we question challenges, handles, and issues within that system. So we look at the farm. What is making our food not to be healthy? They're using chemical fertilizers. So we spotlight that and we call out, we offer solutions. We do multi-stakeholder engagements to ensure we address the issues we see within the food system. We also in indigenous foods as well. And we also have a project we are doing Dika Level 5, where we are farming indigenous vegetables to feed hospitals.
Oh, so the patients eat from the garden?
Yes, on the garden.
Okay.
Yes. So that is the work we do. We look at, it's called food and justice. We look at which injustice exists that makes you not to consume a healthy diet.
Yeah.
So, and that also we fight for rights of food workers, mama boga, fishermen. We look at what is happening within their system that makes them to remain poor, and they're the ones feeding Kenya.
That's
quite comprehensive.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm sure you look at it from a food systems perspective.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, from the farm until the food reaches the plate.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think we need to address it holistically other than just piecemeal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is how we have tried to, I think we are the most unique in addressing that. And being a an organization that is mostly nutritionists, we are doing the work that needs to be done when we are calling out avenues that are not giving us the output of healthy diets.
Yes. Let's go back to how we manage NCDs using diet. And I recall I did one of the TikTok videos and somebody commented and said, a diabetic patient should not eat beans. Please talk about that.
Diet and NCDs are
Yeah.
quite tricky when they are, everybody's out there talking about these diseases, but if they have money, if you're a quack and you want
And you
to
want
take money from people who are
have NCDs.
vulnerable, yes, which is very bad. They take advantage because when you follow the right diet, it gives you not immediate results, but it ensures you get better. When you use, we call them fad diets or popularized diets, or let's call it fake diet, that are usually to make profit. You will think you're getting the right result in the most quickest way, but you're actually prolonging or making it worse. So diet is critical when you're managing NCDs, when you talk about NCDs. And it's not technical, as people try to put it. In advocacy, don't overdo words. Because,
I know that.
as a nutritionist, there are those things you do, you write in a patient file, and then there are those things you tell the patient.
Yeah.
Quite different. So advocacy is like that. There are those things. The things we talk about are those we tell patient, not the ones we write on the patient file when you're managing them in a clinical space. So I make it as simple as possible. If you are either pre-exposed to non-communicable diseases or you have a non-communicable disease, specifically for pre-exposed, I usually say make sure you have a diet rich in vegetables and fruits and fiber-rich food. As simple as that. We have seen that 90% of Kenyan adults living in urban areas do not consume enough servings of vegetables and fruits. And we have also seen that NCDs are mostly in the urban areas in Kenya. So that is one of the key components of a diet that is missing out. And if there are no vegetables and fruits in diet, means we are heavy on carbohydrates food. And the worst part of it, we are not getting those carbs that are heavy, or rather
High in fiber.
high in fiber. We are getting processed
Yeah.
carbs, which release sugar quite quick when consumed, compared to our own, indigenous foods, our own carbs, sorghum, millet, that releases sugar in quite small amounts and considerable way that does not spike the blood sugar. So I would recommend more fiber-rich foods, vegetables, fruits, water, exercise. It's a holistic thing. You cannot take one and avoid the other. You have to holistically take these meals. But it's important also to get a personalized
meal plan.
Yeah, I've seen your app, which is trying to work that in a digital way,
Yes.
which is interesting because I can speak from a general point of view, but one needs a one-on-one with a nutritionist so that they can recommend their diets, as well as an app that is, I saw the app. That app is incorporating the food composition tables, which is, and also the local foods, which is not common. Yeah, these are some of the avenues that one can get personalized meal plans when it comes to management of NCDs.
Yeah, actually what made me develop the app is I got so many inboxes on TikTok that I need a meal plan, I need this. So I felt it's for me to be able to serve people faster. Let me embrace technology. And then if you log in that you have a medical condition, I always do a follow-up.
Perfect.
Then if you need to book a consultation, there's actually, just click and book a consultation and I'll call you back. Yeah, so that is what triggered me to work on that.
Awesome.
Now, before we finish about the discussion of how to manage NCDs with diet, please demystify the myth. A diabetic patient should not eat beans.
That's a debatable thing,
Uh-huh.
and it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
We usually say we take things in moderation,
Yes.
not restrictively
Yes.
avoiding a certain food.
Yes.
So whoever is saying that beans are not part of a diet is very wrong from a science point of view.
Mm-hmm.
If you consume your beans with your vegetables and with your carbs, you have a nice balanced meal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's not about removing a certain food and then you are demonizing that food. I don't know why they like playing with beans a lot, but it's more of ensuring that your plate is balanced and you have a variety. You're not just consuming beans. Today you can consume beans, tomorrow you can consume another thing. But demonizing one food is not a scientific thing
Yeah.
from a nutritionist perspective.
Yeah.
Every food has its own benefits in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So it's wrong to say beans are not
Yeah.
supposed to be consumed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I actually admire the way you're breaking down. I know you and I can be technical.
Yes, we can.
But I admire the way you're breaking down, those technical terms into a language that our follower can understand. So let's talk about what skills do you need for you to excel in advocacy before I can share my side of the story.
Advocacy is tricky.
Mm-hmm.
It's tricky because, especially in nutrition, I have not seen guidelines,
Yeah.
including even in our curriculum, being trained. You're not trained to advocate for nutrition.
Okay.
It's more of a clinical aspect of it. So I think there will be advancement in how we adopt advocacy,
Mm-hmm.
but the skills, I think I've learned them the hard way, without any guide, without any template to follow. I think I woke up one day, I said, I will talk about nutrition. And then obviously you have to have the person you're talking to in mind,
Yeah. Yeah.
the audience
Yeah.
in mind.
Yeah.
For example, you cannot talk about technical stuff when you're in a community with
Yes.
Omama.
You need to tailor the message to the audience.
Exactly. That
Yes.
is one of the skills
Yes.
that you sleep, overnight you're seated wondering, what will I tell them?
Yes.
So you have to tailor your message to your audience. Another skill is communication. How do you speak nutrition?
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody is talking about nutrition. So unfortunate. Because those who are talking, those who are quite vocal, are not usually nutritionists. And they might say something that is not in line with the science you have been taught.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to win over the audience, you need to speak from a science point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So how you communicate nutrition with evidence is also very important. You cannot just wake up one day, for example, the beans, and you cannot wake up one day and start to speak about nutrition from your own knowledge. There's that knowledge you have been trained, and then there's evidence and research that has been done across the way. So you have to be able to communicate nutrition. As well, you need the confidence. Is confidence a skill? Because I believe should be.
I think it should be.
You train yourself to be confident.
Yeah.
One trick I use to be confident is whenever I'm in a room and I'm the nutritionist available, I usually know that there's nobody else who can speak nutrition better than I can do when I'm in a room and I am the nutritionist, because I use science, I use evidence to speak about nutrition. So you have to be confident to speak for nutrition as well. Another skill is your ability to break down tough topics to relevant audience. Policies are quite tricky. Those ones I also find very tricky to break them down to normal audience. But as we said, you need to tailor your message to
the audience.
to your audience. So I think confidence matters, and the way you communicate evidence for nutrition also comes into play. I think I would recommend somebody should come up with a guideline to support
For nutrition advocacy.
advocacy. Yes, there's no, I cannot defy anybody. You have myself being an advocate, I've not seen anywhere, unless short courses on advocacy, but not nutrition advocacy.
Okay.
That is a gap we have, by the way. And I think that contributed also to why I wrote that book. From my own experience, what I've seen in advocacy, and then what somebody else can walk the same footstep and produce similar results, or the same results that I have.
Amos, I love the way you've broken down the skills that somebody needs to excel in advocacy. For me, I had the opportunity to do several trainings on advocacy in my last assignment, and actually transfer those skills into nutrition advocacy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I was lucky that I was trained on advocacy. And then you mentioned something about policy and advocacy. I know that's my area of specialization right now. And I know that Kenya, we have several policies that support NCD prevention.
Yes.
But there's one particular policy I would want us to talk about. The Kenyan Nutrient Profile Model.
Okay.
And I know you've been part of that discussion.
Yes.
Please just shed some light on that.
So the Kenyan Nutrient Profile Model is more of a framework that guides. It provides us with thresholds for, we have 3 key nutrients of concern that are linked to causing non-communicable disease. They are salt, sugar, and fat. So Kenya is actually the first within East Africa to have a nutrient profile model. So this Kenya nutrient profile, which was I think launched in 2025, I think, it's already published by the Ministry of Health. So it provides us with thresholds on these 3 nutrients: sugar, salt, and fat, in specific prepackaged foods. So it has a list and categories of foods, and the amount of sugar, the amount of fat and salt required, healthy limits of those specific. So if, for example, this chocolate, they have included it in the category and said chocolate should not exceed this amount of sugar, salt, or even fats if it has fats. So it's more of a framework that guides us to now be able to have something we call now the policy, the front of pack nutrition labeling. So we had to have the nutrient profile model before the policy.
Yeah.
So that it can guide us to know which foods are high in sugar, high in salt, and high in fat.
Yeah.
So that framework, which is very interesting and unique in itself, is helping us now to know which foods have exceeded these amounts. So this brings us to the front of pack nutrition warning label policy. It's not yet in action, and it's what we are gearing towards. You have seen campaign on what is in my food, KE, under that hashtag that is done by a coalition. It's the Food Policy Coalition, made up of APHRC, NCDs Kenya, NCCK. We have another ILA, KERIN, are some of the institutions that are within this space to ensure that front of pack nutrition warning label policy is in effect. So this framework, for example, takes a certain food, looks at it and say, does it have sugar? What is the level of this sugar? Then does it exceed the healthy limits? It has to have then a warning label in front of pack. So we are getting towards having that front of pack warning label on our prepackaged processed foods in our supermarkets and any other food that is packaged and exceeds the amount of sugar, salt, or fat needed, or rather beyond the healthy limits. And I mentioned that 90% of our prepackaged foods in Kenya are unhealthy. They exceed the healthy limits of these specific nutrients. So that is where the Kenya nutrient profile comes in and then gears us towards having the front of pack nutrition warning label policy.
Okay. So where are we at in terms of implementation?
So far is more of consumer awareness. You have seen these institutions being in media. For example, myself, I have represented in NCDs Kenya in various media outlets like KTN, KBC, even radios, Tandaza FM, which was in Ngoma, I think, including other forums, podcasts, and various webinars. So it's more of consumer awareness of the need to have such labels in our foods, that our food is not as healthy as you would expect as a consumer. So they're in the consumer awareness of what is in our food. That's why they have a hashtag, what is in my food Kenya, so that you get to know. In case now we request for participation in public participation, you'll be able to know the essence of having such a policy in place.
Okay.
Yes.
I know we have back of pack labeling. Do you have a policy that supports that or a framework?
Yeah, to be there has to be something that was put in place. There are
Okay.
frameworks, guidelines that helps that. And you also know it's how technical.
Yeah.
Even a nutritionist
Yeah.
it becomes quite hard to decipher
Yeah.
what is the back. So I think that's where the food policy, and actually WHO consider it as a best buy that any government can implement to ensure that NCD reduction is heightened in a best way. So front of pack nutritional labels policies is a best buy, endorsed by WHO as one of the best things a government can do to help reduce diet-related non-communicable diseases.
Okay. Now, out of curiosity, do we have any manufacturer who has met the front of pack labeling?
Only 10%.
Only 10%?
Yes.
Okay.
Based on that market analysis that was done in 2025, we have not yet have the policy in place now. So there's no food that has a front of pack warning label. That independent market analysis by Access to Nutrition Initiative in 2025 did its own independent analysis of our foods in various outlets, supermarkets in Kenya, and they went through all these foods that are both from national companies and multinational companies. And that is how they found out that 90% of them are actually unhealthy. They exceed the WHO limits of these specific nutrients. So in short, we are consuming foods that are bad for our health.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, before we wind up, please talk to that person who has just been diagnosed with hypertension or diabetes.
I know that might be shocking because I've sat in an NCD clinic, a diabetes clinic. I've also been a research assistant for diabetes education for 6 months, and I've sat with over 120 people living with diabetes, and it's not easy. And one mistake I see with them is the ignorance they have on diet. It's very important if you have been diagnosed with diabetes, hypertension, or in any other NCD, you highly consult a nutritionist. Rarely do we get, when you meet a patient who has diabetes, if you ask them the number of times they have met a nutritionist, it's very rare. So we request, or I urge you, if you get diagnosed, one of the specialists you're supposed to see, and to make them your friend is a nutritionist or a dietitian. That is key and very important. I think that would be my urge towards whoever may be diagnosed by diabetes, hypertension, or any other non-communicable disease. Consult a nutritionist, not online. Don't Google.
A
Or
licensed
diet.
nutritionist.
Perfect.
We emphasize.
Yes, a licensed nutritionist. If you would go further, request the license if you want to consult them. But it's critical you consult a licensed nutritionist to manage your condition.
Good. And you have a licensed nutritionist here. I've actually done a smart diet app. So let me just talk about it briefly. It actually factors in your lifestyle conditions, your health, if you have any health condition as well. And if you need consultation, I'm just a phone call away. So I'll be sharing the link below. Please log in and let's do a meal plan that is individualized to your needs. Now, Amos,
Yes.
I'm so grateful to have you today.
I'm honored to speak for a topic we are both passionate about.
Yes.
It's an honor.
Now, let's wind up with just one practical thing every person should do to improve their lives.
One. There
Just
are
one.
quite many.
Just one. No, just one.
Consult a nutritionist.
Consult a nutritionist.
As simple as that. If you have a child who is 6 months, if you have, feeding, anywhere food is mentioned, the first thing that should come in your mind is what is the perspective of a nutritionist in this? And also be physically active.
Yeah, sure.
Because we are consuming junk food and then you're also not exercising. So that means that energy remains in your body, not
Yeah, sure.
there.
Now, I'm mentoring some young nutritionists. Are you available to join me in that wagon?
I'm also a young nutritionist. You should mentor me as well.
Because we need more voices out there.
I'm always ready for that.
Yeah.
And I think one way I've shown that I can do that is writing that book.
Yeah.
It's my way of telling everyone that, okay, I have something I've done, or I have something I can share with young nutritionists as well. Because I'm still young. And I believe we can work something out of it.
Yeah, sure.
We have to. It's not that.
Yeah.
We have to work something out of it.
Yes. Please share how they can reach you.
On LinkedIn, Amos Kamau, nutrition advocacy strategist. I'm on TikTok, Amos Kamau. I'm on Instagram, Amos as well. I'm on Twitter as well, Amos Kamau. That is X, Amos Kamau. It's Amos Kamau. When you add nutrition to it, you just get me.
Okay.
Amos Kamau, please.
Good. Thanks again, Amos.
Awesome.
One take home from this discussion is we need to have more conversations about policy and advocacy. We need to translate those policies into what we have on our plate.
True.
Thank you for watching, and let's meet on the next episode. Now, for that young nutritionist out there who looks upon you, speak to them.
I am young as you are, and I've been privileged to be able to speak even when I'm not known, or even when I don't have a platform. And it has been a challenge, yes, but I feel when we are many, when we bring together our voices as young nutritionists, we can move something in this profession. So if you're there and you're wondering whether your voice matters in this space, your voice does matter. And your silence is what that is causing us to be slow and not get what we deserve as a profession. I would urge you, use your voice in as much as little as you can. Show up. Show up for nutrition, show up for Kenyans, show up for Africa in general, because nutrition is very important in healthcare. Yes.
Yeah.